Okay. Hi, folks. Chuck Etheridge here in the office, and we are talking about need statements. Now, some people say that need statements are the heart and soul of a grant application. This is where we prove or do our best to prove to an agency with money that this problem we've got exists here where we live. It is urgent. It affects people in a strong way. And that of all the great proposals this agency, this granting agency gets, that right here in Corpus Christi, Nueces County, this is where the money needs to come as well. Now I know that not only two groups are doing need statements, but remember, you're going to have to do a need statement whenever you do a grant. So even if, particularly your individual grant, so even if you are not part of the need statement group, go ahead and let's pay attention as well. I want to just show you some basics about how to do some grants. We've talked about comparative statistics as well. So I'm going to share this screen, and I'm going to share screen 2 here as well. And we're going to get to the website. There is the census, but I'm going to go to data.census.gov, which is part of the US Census, but this is a particular area as well. It's just their data. So you can do census.gov and look for data. I just went straight to data.census.gov. So I'm just going to try the United States profile and search and see what information we find. So we got the United States profile. So I click on this, get the population median household income, which is 65,712, poverty rate, other things, and depending on what you're looking for, it might be relevant as well. Veterans, people born elsewhere, language, race, and ethnicity, number of households, number of people with health insurance, people on disability, educational attainment. And won't go through all of these, but depending on what you're looking for, some of this data can be relevant, and the census is a very respected source of information. But remember, for the purposes of what we're talking about, median household income and poverty rate. So about 65.7 and 12% in poverty. So let's do profile of Texas. So Texas profile. So median household income, 64,000, which is less than the national income. Poverty rate higher than the national, statistically higher, and we can sort through these and we can find a lot more information if we want to dig out here as well. But number of families, people without health insurance is significantly higher. So all these things that are indications of income and how they affect our health are not as good in Texas as they are nationwide. Let's look at Nueces County. Profile of Nueces County. And let's look at Nueces County. Okay. So median household income, 55,000, much lower than the national median. Poverty rate, 16.6%, much higher than the national rate or the Texas rate. Lower educational attainment, and let's look at percentage of people without health. It's just interestingly enough, very few people compared to other places that are foreign born, and you notice that this gives comparisons to the U.S. as well. So people are younger here, median in the United States, more veterans here, fewer foreign born people. What are we looking for? Health insurance. 17.1% people without health insurance. All these things affect people's health as well. So more people with disabilities, more people with ambulatory difficulties, people trouble walking. See, much lower educational attainment in terms of finishing high school. You want to get to college, it's even more so as well. So you see how it's working. And as I said before, and I hate to say this, but if you look at where the United States is economically in terms of health and poverty, you look at Texas, and then you look at Nueces County as well. Remember, the food bank doesn't just serve Nueces County, it serves 11 counties. Let's look at some of the others they serve. Let's look at Brooks County, Texas. Okay, Brooks County, Texas. Much younger population. Median household income, 28,000. That is less, significantly less than half the median income in the United States. And look at that poverty rate. That's more than 4 times the poverty rate as well. So one of the ways to prove need is to look at data that you can get from the census. And if you want to look at income and poverty, which are indicators of malnutrition and other health problems, you do these comparative statements: United States, Texas, Nueces County, and then the other counties that they serve, that the food bank serves as well. Why is this important? Well, if you have less income, you can afford less. It is expensive to eat healthy. It's expensive to eat good meat. It's expensive to eat meat at all. It's expensive to eat fresh fruits and vegetables. So, and that's what this grant is targeting. So we've talked about the census. Let's try the Center for Disease Control, cdc.gov. Okay, now let's look at, try to get my face out of the way here, just because I wanted to see the A to Z index. So I looked under the M's, and there is no category for malnutrition, but there is for Mauritania. So let's look under an N for nutrition as well. So I'm rolling down, and remember, I got on the A to Z index, which is on the front page of the CDC database. Nutrition. Okay, so let's look at nutrition. Let's look at a few things. Let's look at data, trends, and maps. So let's click on Texas. And then we have categories. So let's look at some of these categories as well. We have obesity and weight status, and we obviously know that if people are obese, they have more health problems as well. So let's just look at what we see when we look at Texas. So we have people who are 18 years older who have obesity, about almost 35%, who are overweight, a little more than 35%. Adolescents who have obesity, much higher as well. And then some various stats as well. So that's one indicator as well. Let's try some other statistics. Let's look at fruits and vegetables. Okay. Fruits and vegetables, and we need to look at behavior. So we looked at fruit, vegetables, behavior, and then most recent. Okay, and we get the little wheel of death. We find out percentage of adults who report consuming fruit less than 1 time per day, which is more than 40% eat less than 1 piece of fruit per day. Less than once a day would be 0 times, right? Percentage of people who eat vegetables less than 1 time per day, almost 25% as well. How about, grades 9 through 12? Less than half eat 1 fruit a day, less than half eat 1 vegetable per day. Well, what does that mean? Well, that means they're not getting much healthy fruit and vegetables. Why is this important? Let's just go back to, let's look at poor nutrition fact sheet as well. And again, poor nutrition, harmful effects of poor nutrition. Overweight and obesity, I won't read the whole thing, heart disease and stroke, diabetes, cancer, deficits in brain function. And again, you can explore this as well on your own. But what are we learning? We're learning that there is low income, much lower incomes in Wessex County, shockingly lower incomes in other parts of the service area for the food bank. We are learning that poor nutrition is a huge issue, has all these negative potential health effects, and that poor nutrition is, and that in terms of fruits and vegetables, consumption amongst adults is much lower than it should be, and it's shockingly lower in kids. These are issues that they need to be addressed as well. So trying to see if there's anything else that would be useful to look at as well. We have about nutrition, about what it matters and why it's make a difference, data and statistics. You can look at this as well. And the biggest thing would be micronutrients. And we can click on this and explore this as well, because, and again, you have why it matters, what CDC is doing, because if you get on what's called micronutrition, these are the minerals and the vitamins. These are the things that you get from fruits and vegetables that you don't get. So, and you could even get that if you Google or look on the search bar with malnutrition. You find out you get micronutrition. They're not getting fruits and vegetables, and they're not getting all these others. You have all these health problems as well. And I'll invite you to look at the issue of micronutrition on the CDC as well. So we've looked at the census, we've looked at the CDC. Let's look at one other source. Let's look at the Center Department of Agriculture. That's this Department of Agriculture. Do we get the it's going to give me, hang on, my face is in the way. U.S. Department, oh, here's the U.S. Department of Agriculture as well. Get on that. Does this take us? I don't want the logo. I want the agency as well. The USDA, U.S. Department of Agriculture. So, healthy hemp. That's not what I'm looking for as well. I don't know what type in malnutrition. So we put down malnutrition. We get some articles about malnutrition, nutrition assistance. Let's just look at nutrition in general. Food nutrition, nutrition college, toddler nutrition, dietary guidelines, nutrition programs, Center for Nutrition Programs. We have a lot of sources that we can look at as well. Child nutrition programs. I want to look at the word micronutrition. And again, macronutrients as well. Food and Information Center, correlation between poor micronutrition and family members. There you go, there's an article about that. And I won't Easter egg through the whole thing, but there's a lot of data about nutrition, malnutrition in Texas, malnutrition malnutrition in Texas. And we have all kinds of lower Rio Grande Valley nutrition intervention research. You have all this information available as well. So there's another source that you can look at as well. So what have we looked at? We've talked about demonstrating need. We've looked at some government databases. We've looked at the census. We've looked at Center for Disease Control, and we looked at the United States Department of Agriculture. All of these are respected standard sources that look at issues like public health. And if you have a variety of information all proving, hey, you know, micronutrition or malnutrition is a huge issue. It has all these negative health effects. It is really bad in Texas. And if you look at all the other issues that potentially affect health in Texas, we have a serious urgent need here, and we really do. This is a program that I think is very important. I personally believe that food is not only a basic need, it is a basic human right. But whether you agree with me or not, I think if we're trying to build a need statement that demonstrates, wow, we really need this program that the food bank is doing in Corpus Christi, Texas, and in the Texas Coastal Bend, I think it's going to be, I won't say easy to make a case, but I think there are lots of data out there that you can use to make a case. Thanks for your time. I look forward to seeing what you come up with, and you take good care of yourself.